All right. What is up, everybody? My name is Moose, and we are doing another Kyoshin video. This time, it is going to be a video about whether or not you should buy Kyoshin. And listen, the TLDR is yes. Yes, I am on the Kyoshin boat, and yes, it is sailing off, and yes, it is going to be a great time. So let's get into the video and let's chat about it. So essentially what this video is going to be is I'm going to be outlining the reasons that I like Kyoshin, what I like about him, as well as what I don't like about him and what I kind of hope to be changing, and then we'll have some final thoughts on is he worth buying and is he a good choice for you as well. So let's get into it now. There's a couple things I want to talk about when it comes to what I like about Kyoshin, because there is a fair amount, even though the majority of the people that I run into or people in my channel think that he's not that good or not that fun, and I just think that's kind of wrong. Yes, he might not be the best hero around. That's no question about that. But he is super, super fun. One of the things I find so fun about him, coming from an Aramusha main, is the all guard and all guard cancels. I think that kind of stuff in Dom specifically is super fun. Full guard canceling to continue your combo, as well as the defensive side of the combo, is nice. Having the option to continue the pressure with the alternate Fujin cuts. I could be saying that incorrectly, as well as having the opportunity to then stay in the all guard and potentially punish some external interrupts or something. So that's great. Secondly, his fashion. His fashion is fucking on point. His fashion is actually amazing. The drip, as the cool kids say. Looks great, and that's arguably an important factor in me deciding who I want to main and who I enjoy playing. Like, I enjoy getting the progression of the reps, obviously, but I also enjoy the progression of the fashion, and Kyoshin has some really good fashion progression, and I am excited to get him into the teal gear to see what exactly is going to be going on, but we are going to be having him looking nice and edgy. Nice and edgy. The next thing I like about Kyoshin is the flashiness of the character. Like, I think it is a good thing that For Honor is making more flashy characters, because For Honor can definitely be something that looks really cool to watch, as well as be fun to play. So I'm glad that they're adding in a character that is visually very, very flashy and pretty fancy in that regard. Another thing is, he's difficult to master, but fairly easy to. But his kit is like fairly simple when you're just looking at the moveset, which I think is really good. Like, the dev team has done a great job of creating a hero who is fun, but could definitely use some tuning up, which is arguably right where you want him to be released at. Right, you don't want him to be released like a Warmonger. You don't want him to be released like a Griffin. And so you could argue that this is how you would want new characters to be released into the game. My only concern is that he won't be addressed in a timely manner. But we could get to that here in a minute. So I think he's difficult to master, especially in anti-ganks. Like, his anti-gank flow is odd in terms of like the buttons that you're pressing and kind of how that fight flows. It flows really, really uniquely. And I guess this could get us into the next point, is that one of the reasons why I think he's so fun is the buttons that you're pressing when you're playing Kyoshin are like a unique order. They feel like I'm playing a different character. Instead of, I'm going to another kind of stock character with, the dodge forward bash, the unblockables, the undodgeables, whatever. Like, it might feel like some of these heroes are kind of like a copy paste, specifically potentially Warmonger, or sorry, not Warmonger, Griffin. But Kyoshin feels really nice. He feels new. The buttons feel new. The buttons feel pretty satisfying, and again, it looks flashy. So I'm enjoying learning those combos and kind of learning that muscle memory so that I can really kind of excel in some of the more flashy plays and external combos and stuff like that. So that's super fun. And additionally, that all kind of leads into his team fighting is very entertaining, right? It might not be the best, but I mean, chaining all guards into Fujin cuts, into more all guards, into dodge attacks, into all this other stuff, is really, really satisfying and actually really fun. Having a character that is able to provide some sort of CC for ganks and stuff is a ton of fun. You know, coming from Aramusha, having those reps way before his TG changes, like, I know what it feels not to be able to be useful in a gank. And even with the Aramusha TG updates, with his ring the bell, you know, soft feint from his heavy and all that jazz, like, yes, he has gotten more effective in that department, but Kyoshin really fills that role really nicely. Having those Fujin cuts apply that hit stun and guarantee allied follow-ups is really, really nice to have. So yeah, so that's the things that I like about Kyoshin. And there's a fair amount, you know, and that is something that those are things that I like to see in heroes that I will be maining. Now let's talk about some of the things that I don't like and that I hope are potentially addressed. And I'm not going to go over this in some incredibly high detail because there are a lot of other videos out there that cover it in more detail, and I'll be sure to link them in the description so you guys might be able to take a look at it as I kind of skip over it. But it's obvious to everyone who is at least paying attention that his recoveries are not good, right? His recoveries, like out of all guard, or, you know, on whiffs, or, you know, all of this stuff, his in chain, like time to chain is like super long. Like there's a really long window before you're actually able to input the next attack. And these aren't things I really need to harp on, but they are things that kind of, in a way, get me excited to play the character, because I would rather play a character who is slated for buffs potentially than somebody who is like so S tier that I'm living in constant fear of a nerf. And Kyoshin is in that happy spot where he's not going to be getting nerfed. Like, if anything, he's going to be getting some tuning buffs, potentially some extra ability, like some more abilities, more so than just tuning nerfs. Like, potentially, I've seen some suggestions that maybe he should be able to dodge out of his all guard, some other things like that. I think stuff like that is going to be above and beyond what is necessarily required, quote unquote. I would much rather just see the tuning nerfs, because I think his kit is there and his kit works. He just needs a little bit of love. Additionally, his executions. Like, let's talk about his executions. His executions are, you know, it's something that you don't really notice until you need a quick execution. And this was something that wasn't entirely apparent to me at the beginning of his release, but all of his executions are long as hell. Which is pretty unfortunate in a team fight, especially when you're trying to sneak in that execution, if they're breaking or whatever. Like, having a long execution, everybody knows what the, kind of what the benefits are for that. But conversely, like, heroes need a short execution as well. And it just feels kind of bad releasing a character without that short execution. But obviously not a huge issue. We talked about the time between attacks being super long. The all-guard entrance is very slow. I think, honestly, this is probably fine. It's just in conjunction with with the rest of his kit being tuned down, it's just another thing to potentially add it to the list. But arguably, if everything else on his kit is pulled up, that's probably something that is not needed to be buffed. But still something to note. Another thing is his guard break vulnerability feels really high. Like, getting guard broken out of your Fujin cuts and some other crazy shit. You know, it is what it is. Honestly, I feel like a lot of those kind of issues, it kind of feels bad moments, are largely from those recovery numbers needing to be tuned in some way or another. And now, I know some of you guys are probably saying, oh, Moose, like, he's so terrible. Like, look at what all these people are saying. He's so bad. And yes, he is not that good at high level. but I'm sorry, how many of you guys are playing at this level? You know, I'm still having a ton of fun with him. I'm not saying I'm going to be bringing this guy into the Dominion series, but I am saying that if you're pulling him into solo queue, yeah, you're potentially going to have a really good time, even if he's not the most amazing character in the world. And this is coming from an Aramusha main who grinded thousands of games, you know, pre his update and played him and enjoyed him. And there is absolutely a way to play a non-S tier character and enjoy him, and that'd be fine. You know, not every character is going to be S tier. Not every character is going to be the best. And I think Kyoshin is potentially right in the happy spot. You know, I'd like to see him tuned up a little bit, but honestly, that's where I like to be. I think it is more rewarding playing a character who is largely seen as bad than being expected to play well every game on a character that is largely seen as S tier. You know, looking at Yushigo. So yeah, I think that's kind of where my thoughts settle with that. So yeah, my closing thoughts is he's fun but kind of bad. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. His skill cap feels high, as well as you know, in 1v1s, as well as especially within ganks. Like the amount of stuff that you could do in ganks is high. Like, and it's fun trying to master that. So yeah, and then, you know, lastly, his fashion's on point. His fashion is on point. So it's got everything that I look for in a main. It's got the fashion. He's got the flashiness. He's got the, you know, he's got the not terrible but still completely usable. And he's got some fairly nice anti-ganking, even if the anti-gank is kind of a little weird. You know, it's no JJ anti-gank where you're just throwing Sifu zones and you know, heavy finisher, soft-handed guard break the whole time, and you know, you're hitting people with unblockable and parryable attacks, depending on your positioning. Like, Kyoshin will be able to do that, hopefully, with some of his hitbox changes. Like, and this is with part of the changes that I think he needs. His hitboxes are abysmal. You know, if you try to do external attacks, you know, to have your undodgeable heavy finishers or something, you know, smack somebody in the side that you're not locked onto, it is not going to happen with this character. And hopefully that is something that gets addressed. But people are really showing parallels to Zanu. Zanu had a lot of the issues that Kyoshin has on release, and it took them a long time to fix them. And hopefully it does not take as long this time, because really this stuff should have been fixed prior to his release, because all of this stuff is and are issues that they have addressed with characters in the past. So there's no reason that we should be essentially getting a release that's remaking these mistakes. A new hero that's remaking these mistakes. So finally, yeah, great hero. So finally, yeah, fun, but not that good. But yes, I would definitely recommend it, because I think he is arguably one of the most fun samurai in the game. I think he has great fashion, and I think you guys will really enjoy him. So yeah, if you enjoyed the content, please consider subscribing to the channel. That would really help me a lot. I stream every day, Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. Central on Twitch. You can catch me there live. And it is a great time there where we will be grinding Kyoshin and maining him for sure. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Have a great one. Peace.